Hey love, welcome back to your Soul Revival Tarot Forecast. We are almost approaching October. It is October and just tomorrow. I was going to say just a couple of days, but it's tomorrow. So, I don't know about you, but 2018 has been fucking amazing. So I hope that it has been amazing for you as well, obviously. So, you're probably wondering why you didn't get a forecast last week. And the reason for that is because I feel like our equinox and harvest moon reading was so jam-packed with information. I really wanted you to kind of sit with that and do the work around it that we talked about in the video. So, that's why there was no official weekly forecast last week. So that being said, let's get into it for this week. I'm using the Moonchild Tarot deck, which is fucking amazing. And I haven't used it yet. It just got here, so I'm excited to see all the things. So our first card is the Seven of Swords. So right now, you're being asked to really take a look at some things that maybe you've been avoiding. Some things that maybe you're telling yourself some stories around. That maybe you're saying, oh, well, but it's like this. And there's some times where we are slightly dishonest with ourselves, not because we're bad people, but because we have the best of intentions and we just don't know how to go about really putting that forward into action. So we talk about it, but we maybe necessarily don't have a lot of or any of the action to back it up. So what are you maybe glossing over? What are you avoiding? What maybe are you not quite putting the work into that you say that you are? And again, this is not about judgment. This isn't about, oh, well, like I'm so fucked up because I didn't do XYZ or, whatever. This is not about you judging yourself or coming to this place where, you feel anxiety around it, but really take a look at what you have going on in your life. How many irons do you have in the fire that maybe don't actually need to be there? And do some shifting. Maybe walk away from some things, right? Because we're still in this energy of really getting into this new season. We're walking into fall. And it's kind of time to reorganize things and to look at things and say, I really don't want this anymore. I don't want that anymore. And instead, I want to bring this in. So when you're shuffling all of that around and you're really looking at what you want to continue to bring forward or what you want to get rid of and instead plant something new in its place, ask yourself, what can I really just get rid of entirely? What can I actually stand behind? Because I really can see the potential here. And I've been talking about it, but I haven't been putting a whole lot of action behind it. And I feel like I kind of need to. So take a look at that. Get really honest with yourself. Again, this is not about judgment. This is just about being honest and saying, you know what, I've been talking about this and saying that I'm going to put all this action and work into it and I'm not doing it and I don't really want to do it, so I'm just going to stop talking about it now. I'm just going to let it go. Or I've really been talking this up and I haven't been putting a whole ton of action behind it, and you know what, that stops right now. And then take a step. It doesn't matter how small this step is, it just matters that you start, right? So the next card we have is the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands really is suggesting that when you are truly honest about the things that maybe you've been glossing over, the things that kind of need to be brought up to the surface, there's going to be room for ideas. There's going to be room for inspiration. So maybe you have this thing that's been sitting on the back burner for a really long time. And when you initially conceived this idea, it was in this particular box. And this is where you thought it was going to go. And it's been sitting for so long that maybe it's transformed a little bit. Maybe it's turned into something new. Maybe you're going to go in a different direction with it. Or maybe it's kind of, like I said, transformed into this whole other thing. Like, it's going down a different path now, and maybe it had to sit on that back burner, and maybe it had to wait just a little bit so that you could really stew in those ideas and that it could be fully formed. And even if you're thinking like, well, it's not quite formed yet, that's okay, because when you're digging all of this stuff up, there might be that new spark of inspiration. There might be these whole new ideas that you have around it that maybe you didn't see or think of when you first conceived the original idea. And now there's all of this amazing potential around it. And now you're feeling that inspiration. Now you're like, oh yeah, this was such a fucking good idea. Why didn't I do anything with this before? Well, now's your chance. Now you're going to have that momentum, that want to do it again. Sometimes we get so caught up, we lose the inspiration. And that's okay, but you're really going to be open to that. Or maybe you feel like you need to be open to it in the sense that there's so much potential for these things. You just need to actualize it. You just need to get it going. Because over planning, overthinking, over analyzing, trying to map everything out is just procrastination. And in a way, procrastination is fear. It's just kind of us putting it off and putting it off and putting it off and putting it off because we're afraid to jump. So when you're digging all this stuff up and you're kind of getting rid of things or relooking at things and evaluating them from a different perspective, and you have these ideas or that spark of inspiration comes up, really sit with that and then kind of go from there. But this time around, put the action behind it. You don't have to sit on the sidelines anymore, because that's what it's there for. The idea is there for you to walk it out into the world, right? So our next card is the Ten of Wands. So when we have, say, a ton of little things on the back burner, when we have 800 different irons in the fire, when we have all this stuff going on, we kind of drag our feet. We don't really want to do the new thing. We don't want to take that chance on that inspiration. We don't want to really get into a whole new thing and have to kind of figure all of that out. When we're in our routine and we're just on autopilot and we get up in the morning and we like take a shower, brush our teeth, get dressed, go to work, do our job, come home, make dinner, whatever. When we're in that autopilot mode, we don't really feel like doing anything else. When we're kind of just there and we're not really living, we're just doing the things that we always do, and we don't have that Page of Wands energy, and we don't feel inspired, and we don't really want to go out of our way to put energy and time into these ideas that we have. We'd rather just kind of fucking let them sit there because there's so much already on our plate. It's really time to ask yourself, what can I let go? Do I need to carry all of this? Do I need to overcommit all the time? Do I need to overextend myself? Do I need to say yes Or do I need to set boundaries and say, actually, you know what? I'm full up. I can't take on another thing. Or, you know what? I need to carve out some fucking time for myself. So the 10 of Wands is really saying, like, you have a whole lot of shit going on. And you really need to start dropping things. What can you let go of? Where can you set boundaries? How can you carve out the time that you need to do what you need to do? And not just need as in obligations that we have, like cooking dinner or going to work, but that self-care. And not just the self-care, but also taking the time to fill our cup up and say, you know what, like, it's going to make me really happy to work on this idea, but I'm so fucking tired, I don't really want to. So, do you see what I mean? Like, instead of keeping the autopilot on and instead of just kind of trudging through things, see where you can let stuff go. See where you can say, you know what, I don't need to have 10,000 appointments every week. Like, I need to drop some stuff. I need to set some boundaries because I need to carve out time for these things that make me happy, that fill me up so that I'm replenished and I don't feel like shit all the time. So it's really, really, really important. And I have so many clients who are like, oh, but well, you know, I just like, this is my schedule and I'm basically booked all day from when I wake up until when I go to sleep and I get 4 hours of sleep and I'm just like, what are you talking about? And, you know, keeping busy is great, but you also need to remember that it's not always about the hustle for the sake of spinning your wheels and doing busy work. That's not going to get you any further. It's just going to make you more tired. So where can you start to let things go? Where can you set those boundaries for yourself, right? And we're followed up by my favorite card, the High Priestess. Where can you trust yourself? What is your relationship to your intuition? What is the level of trust that you place in yourself? Because we often look to other people, our bosses, our kids, our spouses, our parents, our friends. And we sort of look for these cues to say, oh, can I trust myself? I had a conversation with someone the other day who was like, I really need your validation on this. And I'm just like, no, you fucking don't. Like, you only need your own. So what is your connection to your trust in yourself? What is your connection to your intuition? Is it full, or is it just kind of like, oh no, I need other people's validation. Oh no, I need someone to tell me that this is okay. I need permission from other people. I need someone else to tell me that this is a good idea. I can't trust myself because XYZ. I don't know what my intuition sounds like. I don't listen to it. You know what I'm saying? So really get down into what your relationship is with yourself and your intuition. And where do you make your choices from? Do you look to other people, or do you rely on you? So that's going to actually be your homework. Part of it anyways. So where can you let things go this week? Where can you say, you know what? I'm done with this. I don't really need to give it any more time and energy. It's not going anywhere. It's kind of a dead end. I'm done. And where can you stand to be open on things that you really wanted to see come to fruition, that you know, like, this is it. Like, this makes me feel so good. I just needed that spark of inspiration again. I just needed that spark of passion. I needed a new idea about this so that I could really kind of finalize what this is, and I can now take the action towards it. So look at those things. And then see where you can take action. What things can you get rid of? What things can you sort of nurture a little bit moving forward so that you can really see them grow and flourish? And then finally, really get into asking yourself, what is my relationship to me? How much trust do I place in myself? Do I know what my intuition sounds like? Do I use it? Or am I purely logic based, and am I purely looking to other people to validate me or give me permission to do things? And again, this is not about judgment. This is not about judging yourself. This is just being honest. Be honest with yourself so that you can correct or reevaluate the behavior. Do you want to keep doing that or not? If you don't, but if you say, well, I really need to stop looking for outside validation, and yet you keep doing it, but you keep talking about how much you don't want to do it, you're moving in two different directions. So your subconscious doesn't really know what direction to take, right? Because you're not giving it clear orders. You're saying, I don't want to do this, and then you're continuing to do it. So really look at where you make your choices from, and where you take action from, and what your connection is to you, and how much you value your own opinion and the answers that are already within you. Because you have all the answers. You already do. And maybe they're not right up at surface level, but they're there. And that's really what the high priestess says to us, is like, the answers are already there. You just have to listen. So kind of think about that. And that's what I want you to journal about. So I hope that this helps. I know that it's a little bit more deconstruction, which is kind of what our video last week was about, was really tearing things down and rebuilding them. But it's kind of time for that. We're stepping into this whole new paradigm where we can say, actually, like, I don't fucking want to believe the old story. I don't want to believe these old, shitty, limiting beliefs. I'm done with that. And then we can rewrite something new that's actually our own instead of something we inherited, right? So I hope that this helps, and I will see you next week. Love you.